and it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before halftime.
Caitlin Clark, you need to go up to their front office, demand Stephanie White to be fired, removed.
They want the front office to pick between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White, man.
It was only a matter of time, bro, that Caitlin Clark was going to obviously have words with Stephanie White.
Caitlin Clark needs to get the hell out of Indiana.
I think this is one of those things where it might be a turning point.
The sound of the locker room door slamming shut echoed down the hallway, signaling that something serious was unfolding behind closed doors. Inside, voices were raised, tensions were high, and the future of the Indiana Fever seemed to be hanging in the balance. Caitlin Clark had finally reached her limit. Frustration with the team's direction had been building for weeks, and now it had come to a head in a heated exchange with head coach Stephanie White. This wasn't just about one game or one disagreement. It was about leadership, strategy, and the vision for the future of the franchise. What happened during that emotional confrontation would soon ripple far beyond the walls of the Fever's locker room. Fans were left asking the question no one thought they'd be facing this soon. Is the WNBA's brightest young star already considering a future beyond Indiana?
Word on the street is CC told Stephanie White to sit Kelsey Mitchell and Howard because they don't pass. Could be true. CC went to tie her shoe after passing to Howard on a play. LOL.
And it is clear that there is a philosophical rift in the team.
What followed wasn't just a heated argument over one bad game or a single questionable coaching decision. This confrontation was months in the making, fueled by frustration, missed opportunities, and a rising star who felt her talent wasn't being fully utilized. Caitlin Clark's frustration was impossible to hide. After elevating this franchise into the national spotlight, she now found herself sidelined by a system that seemed unwilling to embrace what made her special. Imagine building your entire brand around a record-breaking young superstar, only to watch her get pushed out of the spotlight when it matters most. That's exactly the situation unfolding in Indiana. A scenario that has left fans scratching their heads and questioning the direction of this franchise.
Don't know what she's doing. She's holding Caitlin Clark back. She don't know what to do with her.
Yeah, I know Caitlin Clark plays a certain type of way. You want to build a team around your superstar player. That is not the case for this team. This front office solely, to me, only care about the regiment of their team.
Y'all was way better without her last year, you hear me? She is sabotaging your game. She trying to make you play slow. Know what I'm saying? You have to have the ball in your hand and play up tempo. That's your game. And everybody, even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see that. You hear me? And everybody that's saying the Fever is better without Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC, goofy.
Fans aren't quietly complaining anymore. They're voicing their frustration loud and clear. Social media is flooded with comments like, "I paid to see Caitlin Clark's magic, not this mess." And if this is what Fever basketball looks like, count me out. When your franchise's most valuable player feels overlooked, it's no longer just a coaching misstep. It's a betrayal of the promises made to the fans who believed in this team's future. And here's where you come in. If you're watching this and feel the same frustration thousands of others do, go ahead and hit that like button and comment "Free Caitlin" below. Let's make sure the front office hears this message loud and clear. Let them know exactly how the fan base feels about what's happening to one of the game's brightest stars. But to truly understand how we got to this breaking point, we need to rewind the clock. A few months ago, the first sparks of this drama quietly ignited. Head coach Stephanie White made headlines after commenting on the Dallas Mavericks' style of play without Luka Doncic. Her take went viral. The ball moves better. Players are more involved. Multiple people are stepping up. Let that sink in.
Stephanie White right here talking about Luka.
A wrist sprain in that game that has been out since. And that puts a lot on the plate of players like Spencer Dinwiddie, who just came in, who finds Marshall for the corner three.
When you see the Mavs just play differently without Luka on the floor, he's a guy who's high usage rate, the ball's in his hands. When he's not on the floor, that ball is moving, it's popping, multiple players getting involved in action, and everyone's stepping up.
Okay, you can hear the excitement in her voice talking about Luka not being in there. Oh, they're moving and they're popping and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, no. You hear that and you wonder, is she one of these coaches that doesn't believe in the transcendent player?
At the time, it almost sounded like Coach Stephanie White was suggesting that teams perform better without their star players. The example? The Dallas Mavericks, a team carried to the NBA Finals behind Luka Doncic, the league's scoring leader. It was like saying a bakery does better business after firing its head chef. Social media ran wild with reactions. Analysts shook their heads. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. But White didn't back down. In fact, she made it clear. Her philosophy centers on the idea that no individual player is bigger than the system. Fast forward to now, and suddenly that old comment feels eerily relevant. Swap Luka Doncic for Caitlin Clark and the Mavericks for the Indiana Fever. And the pattern is hard to ignore. Once again, a franchise cornerstone, the very player who brought them national attention, is being framed not as a solution, but as a problem.
Stephanie White, you deserve the Dodo Bird of the Day award.
And if they do not want to get a coaching, make a coaching change and bring in who she wants that is going to cater to her style and build the team around her strengths, then she should walk.
And who do you think that the fans come to see? They don't come see everybody else that's on that team. I'm sorry. There's no disrespect. The Caitlin Clark effect, the CC effect is real.
This wasn't just a careless comment or a passing observation. It felt more like a coaching philosophy in action. And once you recognize that, every questionable lineup change, every unexpected benching, and every stretch of stagnant offense starts to make more sense. Stephanie White's approach seems simple. If you dominate the ball too often, you're part of the problem. Her vision centers around a free-flowing offense where responsibilities are shared and the ball moves quickly and often, like a well-oiled machine. On paper, it sounds ideal. Unselfish basketball, smooth ball movement, and team-first mentality. But in reality, it can sometimes look chaotic. Players out of sync, possessions lacking rhythm, and a team struggling to establish any true identity on the floor.
I don't even understand the spacing of the offense. I'm watching Caitlin Clark drive down the right side of the lane, and Natasha Howard, rather than spacing the floor and stand in the corner, she's diving to the basket, bringing a defender to Caitlin. It's just, bro, the offense is just trash. I got to be honest with you.
But what I will say with Stephanie White is just that I hate this offense. I do not like the Indiana Fever's offense this season. It's hard to watch. And I feel like Stephanie White is bringing what she was doing with the Connecticut Sun over here.
That's exactly why men need to be coaching in the WNBA, bro. Need to be coaching. Yeah, let a man do it, bro. Because all this women coaching other women athletes, bro, it's out of there. And then these women owners and all of that, man, please, bro, y'all just tearing stuff down, bro. It's not about y'all. But it's crazy though.
Caitlin Clark isn't just another player on the roster. She's a once-in-a-generation point guard, built to lead, create, and elevate everyone around her. When you take that kind of engine off the floor, the entire system comes to a halt. Yet, Stephanie White continues to push the belief that leaning too heavily on Clark disrupts team chemistry. Her philosophy argues that high-usage players create predictability and isolation on offense. But the reality tells a very different story. When Clark isn't running the show, the offense stalls. Teammates look lost, scoring opportunities vanish, and opposing defenses take full advantage of the confusion.
You played Natasha Howard more minutes in the first half than you played Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark played the fourth most minutes out of everybody in the starting lineup in the first half, and you wonder why we're losing. Caitlin, 12 points, 9 assists, but she don't even look like the same player. She don't look enthusiastic. She just don't even look like she into it anymore. She kind of look like she over this, you know what I mean? And to be honest, as a Caitlin Clark fan, I'm pretty much over it as well. I just got to keep it real with you. I'm pretty much over this as well. This season is a travesty. I just feel like, she needs to explore other options.
This isn't the first time Stephanie White's system has come under scrutiny. Back during her time at Vanderbilt, alongside her mentor Carolyn Peck, a coach with championship credentials, White's structured, system-heavy approach struggled to produce results. The Commodores endured consecutive seasons with just 7 wins, and by the time any progress showed, it came too little, too late. Players transferred out, fans lost interest, and frustration grew on campus. Now, with the spotlight of the WNBA shining much brighter, White is attempting to apply the same philosophy, but on a far bigger stage. And instead of college arenas in Tennessee, she now faces headline writers and primetime broadcasts eager to see success. Yet, the results feel eerily familiar. A team packed with talent, but underperforming. At the heart of it all? Caitlin Clark's current situation. The numbers speak for themselves. Compared to her stellar rookie season, Clark's usage rate has dropped nearly 20%. Her scoring is down. Her assists have plateaued. And the dazzling court vision that once lit up sold-out arenas is now hidden behind slow, stagnant ball movement. The Caitlin Clark who once electrified the league looks like a passenger in a system that doesn't match her strengths. Possession after possession, you can sense her hesitation. Teammates aren't running the floor with urgency. Screens arrive late, if at all. Defenders collapse on her, daring her to force a shot. This isn't a player losing her edge, it's a player being lost inside a system that stifles her impact. Clark's game hasn't changed. She's still hitting deep threes, still making impossible passes, still reading defenses with precision. The only change is opportunity. Under White's system, every spark of creativity is met with rigid rotations and an offense that treats innovation as a problem instead of a strength. The result? A superstar stripped of rhythm, forced into isolation, battling for every basket. Game after game, the box score tells the story. Tough shooting nights, team breakdowns, and post-game explanations chalking it all up to adjustments. But fans aren't buying it. Analysts aren't buying it. The real issue is hidden beneath the talk of balance and unpredictability. History reminds us, this isn't new for Stephanie White. At Vanderbilt, she championed this very same system under Peck's influence. And the results? 7 wins, 23 losses. Then 7 wins and 24 losses. Players left. Fans tuned out. The lesson was clear. A system that fears star power will eventually suffocate it. Yes, Peck and White shared championship glory in the past, but success in college tournaments doesn't always translate to professional leagues. The WNBA operates on a different level, with higher stakes and sharper competition. Yet White seems determined to repeat history, holding on to the belief that unpredictability outweighs star-driven momentum. She's traded chemistry for chaos. When things unravel, she points to the players for not buying in, rather than questioning whether the system is truly built for them to succeed. Now, under the bright lights of the WNBA, history feels like it's repeating itself. The Indiana Fever's struggles this season can't be ignored, especially when you look at how much they've invested in Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom. From headline media tours to jersey sales and primetime appearances, this franchise positioned her as the future. Yet, when it matters most, they've repeatedly sidelined her in crucial moments. And now, fans are starting to ask serious questions. Why has this frustration finally boiled over in Indiana? Because the signs are simply too obvious to overlook. On social media, fan outrage is louder than ever. Under nearly every Fever post, "Free Caitlin" is trending. One frustrated fan even wrote, "Release our star or refund our money." Another vowed not to attend another game this season. Even those who don't follow basketball strategy closely can tell something's not right. They see the empty seats, they hear the lack of energy in the crowd, and they wonder why they paid to watch a team that seems to be unraveling. Behind the scenes, sponsors are beginning to ask tough questions. National broadcasters tread carefully during post-game interviews, aware that tension is high. Reporters continue pressing the front office with the same question. When will Caitlin Clark be given the keys to this offense? Sources close to the team suggest there's growing concern within the organization about what happens if this situation doesn't change, especially with a player who's already proven she can move the needle for the entire league. This isn't just fan frustration anymore. It's a full-scale backlash. Supporters paying premium prices for entertainment aren't getting what they signed up for. Instead of highlight reel performances and fast-paced excitement, They're watching an offense bogged down with mid-range jumpers and wasted possessions. Fans believed in Caitlin Clark's potential, and now they're watching it get buried beneath a system that won't allow her to shine. And when enough people feel betrayed, they take action. They share clips, flood comment sections, and make their voices impossible to ignore. The Fever's front office can't brush this off any longer. The evidence keeps stacking up against Stephanie White's approach. Just look at what happened when Caitlin Clark returned from a recent injury. After missing 5 games with a groin issue, she came back to a lineup that looked completely different. White shuffled rotations like a chessboard, but seemed to forget the goal: winning basketball games. The result? Predictable. Clark looked out of rhythm. The team looked disconnected, and the fans felt let down once again. In her first game back, a tough loss to their latest opponent, the Fever fell 80-61. Clark finished with just 10 points on 4 for 12 shooting, including 2 of 5 from deep. Those aren't the numbers of a superstar being empowered. Those are the numbers of a star being stifled. What's even more baffling is this: the Fever won the Commissioner's Cup during Clark's absence. Natasha Howard stepped up with 16 points and 12 rebounds, leading Indiana to a 74-59 win over the defending champion Minnesota Lynx. Coach White and her supporters have pointed to this victory as proof the system works. They argue it shows this team doesn't need to lean on one player, but here's what they're missing entirely. No franchise should build around a superstar only to perform better when she's off the floor. No fan wants to cheer for a team that looks its best when its superstar is sitting on the bench. And that's exactly what makes this situation with Caitlin Clark so frustrating. Even through the chaos and limitations of her current role, her individual brilliance continues to shine. Despite the setbacks, she's still averaging more than 17 points and 8 assists per game this season. Whether it's threading impossible passes or knocking down deep threes, Clark continues to deliver those flashes of greatness. But those moments feel more like rare highlights than the consistent dominance fans expected to see every night. The bigger issue? The coaching decisions only seem to add to the confusion. Stephanie White recently defended her lineup choices by focusing on Clark's role off the ball, pointing out how she could set screens, move more without possession, and find open looks that way. But this completely overlooks what sets Caitlin Clark apart from the rest. Clark isn't simply a shooter waiting for opportunities to arise. She's a true floor general, the kind of player who elevates everyone around her when the ball is in her hands. She's a natural playmaker who creates offense out of almost nothing, dictating the rhythm and flow of the game. That's where her talent shines brightest, not as a secondary piece moving without the ball. Frustration among fans reached new heights after White was fined by the league for comments she made about officiating. Following a game against the Connecticut Sun, where Clark took several hard fouls, White publicly criticized the referees for failing to protect her star player. On the surface, this may have looked like a coach standing up for her team, but when you look deeper, there's a contradiction that's hard to ignore. White wants referees to protect Clark from physical defenders, but she hasn't protected Clark from a system that limits her own impact on the court. That's the irony. She's demanding the league recognize Clark's importance when it comes to foul calls, but won't recognize her importance when it comes to running the offense. White defends Clark's right to attack the basket without taking punishment, but won't give her the freedom to lead the team the way she's built to. And this isn't just about Clark. This is a pattern across the entire roster. White's system treats every player like just another interchangeable part in a bigger machine. It favors constant motion over empowering individual excellence, system over star power, predictability over creativity. But basketball isn't played by machines. It's played by individuals, each with their own strengths, instincts, and ways of impacting the game. The best coaches understand this. They create systems that bring out the very best in their top talent, not ones that hold them back. Great coaches build systems that bring out the best in their players, not ones that hold them back. But right now, Stephanie White seems to believe that chaos will somehow lead to success. Her philosophy is simple. If everyone on the floor touches the ball, everyone will eventually find their rhythm. She thinks an unpredictable offense will keep defenses guessing. But the WNBA has long outgrown that kind of thinking. The league's top teams understand one undeniable truth. You need structure and you need hierarchy. When the game slows down and the system breaks down, you need players who can create, players who can take over. Just look at the franchises setting the standard. The Las Vegas Aces have been built around Aja Wilson's dominance in the paint. The New York Liberty have unlocked Breanna Stewart's full versatility. And the Seattle Storm thrived on Sue Bird's leadership paired with Jewel Lloyd's scoring punch. These teams understood that when you have great players, your job is to empower them, not diminish them. The Indiana Fever had that same opportunity when they drafted Caitlin Clark. They had a chance to build something truly special around one of the most generational talents the game has seen. But instead, they've wasted valuable time forcing her into a system that doesn't fully tap into what makes her exceptional. They've spent 2 seasons prioritizing a philosophy of so-called balanced basketball, sacrificing wins to prove a point rather than embracing the reality of today's game. Elite talent needs to lead the way. And make no mistake, the clock is ticking. Clark won't wait forever for the Fever to figure it out. She's already shown signs of frustration with how she's being used. She's already faced questions from the media about her role and whether this is the right environment for her to thrive. Whispers about her future in Indiana are only getting louder. If things don't change soon, those whispers could turn into demands. And the solution? It's not complicated. Put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands. Let her run the offense. Trust her to make the right reads, the right passes, and the right decisions. Design an offense where her creativity and playmaking elevate the entire team, not work against it. This isn't about abandoning team basketball. It's about recognizing that the best team basketball often flows through your best individual players. Here's the truth. Championship teams are built around their stars. Just ask the Bulls about Michael Jordan. Ask the Lakers about Magic Johnson. Or better yet, ask anyone who's ever witnessed a winning franchise. They'll all tell you the same thing, and stars need the freedom to shine. Superstars thrive with trust. They need the ball in their hands, especially when the game is on the line. If Stephanie White wants to keep the Fever moving forward, adjustments are necessary. And soon. This isn't about stubbornly sticking to a system for the sake of consistency. It's about recognizing when it's time to evolve. The answer is clear. Caitlin Clark needs the freedom to lead this offense. Let her set the tempo, make the decisions, and embrace the responsibility that comes with being a franchise player. A rigid, unpredictable system isn't helping anyone when it limits the impact of your brightest star. Sometimes the smartest coaching move is knowing when to step back. Just imagine Clark consistently putting up 25 points and 12 assists per night, leading the league in playmaking while reigniting primetime excitement. Picture packed arenas chanting her name as she performs at her absolute best. Free, confident, and unshackled. That's the vision this team should be chasing. Anything less only holds them back. And if you believe the Fever need to stop holding Caitlin Clark back, drop a free Caitlin in the comments to let the front office know how fans really feel. Let's make sure they hear the message loud and clear. For more in-depth WNBA updates and the latest on Caitlin Clark, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on what's next.